nāvavatu, saha bhunaktu, saha viryam karvavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to another session of weekly group meditation. Before we begin, Nathan, can you please confirm if you can hear me and see me well? Perfect. Okay, so let's begin with our sit first, and then we can look at another question from the list that I have been discussing through in the past couple of sessions. So make yourself comfortable. We will be sitting as usual for 20 minutes. If you are sitting on ground or on bed, keep your legs crossed. Keep your spine erect, yet comfortable, relaxed. If you are sitting on chair, make sure that your back is not supported by the back of the chair. Scoop yourself to the front edge of the chair. Keep your feet flat on the ground. Keep your palms open and on your thighs facing upward. Find your comfortable posture. If you wear specs, you can remove them. Close your eyes. Let's begin with a couple of deep breaths. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax. Another deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax even more. One last deep breath. And as you exhale, relax completely into this one. Allow your breathing to flow naturally without trying to change anything about it. Simply observe the natural flow of breath. If at any point you find yourself lost in thoughts or sounds in your surrounding, simply bring your attention back to observing the natural flow of breath. सर्वे bhavantu sukhinaḥ sarve santu nirāmayāः sarve bhadrani paṣyantu mā kaśchit dukkha bhag bhavet. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rub your palms against each other. Generate some warmth. Cup your eyes with your palm and open your eyes slowly. So let's see what is the question that we can discuss of today. Fourth question from this list. Why do I self-sabotage every time I get close to something good? Why do I self-sabotage every time I get close to something good? Why does this happen? You have been trying for something for a very long time, and when it is close to be done, something happens, you do something stupid, or somehow you lose that zeal or enthusiasm and make decisions that don't help you to get that job done in the way you anticipated when you started. Why does this happen? Well, there are multiple reasons for why this is so common. First is obviously the impressions that you have been carrying. How are these impressions formed? We have talked a lot about impressions. So these impressions are formed by our own activities and our engagement with the activity, in the way we engage with activities. So the prime cause is when we do something with passion, because we have certain amount of liking towards what we are doing. And sometimes we do things forcibly because we need to do that for X, Y, Z reason, but we don't enjoy. So we always have a sense of aversion towards that activity. So this liking or disliking of certain things cause these mental patterns to be formulated. And this is what we are calling samskaras. And over time, as we do more of this, obviously very unconsciously, right? And this is considered the usual way of life. Obviously, as a person, you will like something and you will dislike something. This is what is considered usual way of life. So we don't bother about this. But this has an impact in formulating samskaras. So more you do something, that kind of samskar gets stronger and stronger. A very nice example that we see in the scriptures is about pulling a rope or pulling water from well, and the rope goes over a piece of stone, slides over a piece of stone, and over time what happens is the stone over which the rope slides, that stone gets carved in a way that it shows that from where the rope has been passing all of this time. So just because of repetition, even stone gets carved by a rope, which is of no, if you compare the strength of rope and stone, obviously you can easily cut a rope with a sharp stone. But even a rope, just because of the repetition, it creates that mark on the stone. Similarly, because of the repetition, more we do certain things, more a certain kind of impression becomes stronger. And success, what we call success, right? The definition of success that we have in mind, if we go by that definition, success is not a very frequent thing that happens in our lives, right? If you go by the definitions of success, in widely accepted definitions of success, you work towards something and you achieve it at the very end, but most of the period is struggle, right? Most of the, like 90%, 99% of your period when you set your goal until you achieve that goal is struggle. You are working towards the goal, and only when it fructifies it, then you call it success, right? So you see what is happening here. Your mind has been generating samskaras of struggle, of doing the work, never of enjoying the work or enjoying the benefits of it. That happens for a very short period of time, and then you pick another goal and then you go into that again, that mode of struggle, mode of working towards it. So always, for most people, the impressions of being a struggler, being a worker, being the doer is far stronger than being the achiever, being successful. So when you are very close to finally getting there, finally achieving what, this strong impression or pattern, mental pattern kicks in and keeps you going in that same momentum of doubting, of making plans, revising plans, re-looking at your plans, discarding the old plan, coming up with a new one. Even when you are very close, the same habits, the same tendencies, the same impressions start acting and you lose track. So this is how this samskaras and vrittis, what we call the mental ruts, this is how it works. But then also there is identity, what you identify as. If you identify yourself as a someone who is trying to do something, your mind holds on to that identity and it wants you to stay the person who is trying to achieve, never lets you be the person who has done it, who has become successful in doing it. So this identity also plays a very huge part. Then there is also aversion. We think we are averse to pain, but we are not just averse to pain, we are also averse to change. Anything new, anything uncertain, anything unknown, we have a sense of aversion towards it. We don't really accept it until there is no way out, right? We always try to find a way to go back to our comfort zone, go back to what we know, go back to what we are familiar with. So these are some of the reasons why this happens. But then how do you stop this? How do you get off this? One is to develop sakshi bhav, what we call the witness perception. So when you get an urge of doing something, instead of reacting to that urge, if you just start to practice watching it, just like we have been watching our breath in our sessions, if you just extend this practice into your day-to-day life and first just witness what is this urge and why is it coming, where is it coming from, is it reasonable, So instead of reacting to those urges, witnessing them as they are and then responding consciously onto them will prevent a lot of this kind of situations. And about identity, people might say that, okay, but this is the reality. Our identity is of the person who is trying to achieve something. And until I achieve it, how can I have the identity of having achieved it? Well, it's not true, right? This identity is not a physical thing that is solidified in real physical world people can touch, right? This identity is how you feel about yourself. So there is a very popular saying which falls in line with this, is most people think that they need to do something and then they will have something and then they will become something. Right? This is what most people think, that this is the sequence, but the real sequence is actually opposite. You start to be someone, and then because you accept that identity internally, you start to behave like that person, and then automatically whatever that person has comes into your life, because the actions produce that kind of outcome. So the real shift is not getting into that identity which is controlled by external circumstances and is available to you temporarily because of the external circumstances keep changing. You acquire that identity consciously and then mold circumstances as if you are the person in that circumstances. So think of anyone whom you admire, right? If suddenly you strip off all the things that they have, but their identity remains, they identify as who they are, they will build everything up again, because their actions are not going to change. Their mindset is not going to change. They will still look at all situations the same way they used to earlier, and they will still be finding the same opportunities they used to find earlier. So identity comes first. And when you make this shift, even the period when you are struggling, you can actually not be struggling but enjoying the activities as your new identity. And then it becomes much easier to enjoy the final fruits of your activities, because it's just usual for you. It's within your comfort zone. It is within your known, right? So these are some of the things that I could think of when I read that question. So we are already 41 minutes in. So, okay, let's see the next question in the next session. But from the audience, if there is anything, any question, anything anyone wants to discuss, then they can type in chat. What we discussed today, does it make sense? Okay. Okay, then let's close this session here. And like always, thank you for joining, and I will see you in the next session. Thank you. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shanti Shanti Shanti.